Today we're talking about heroes, not the ones with capes or superpowers, though sure, those are fun. I mean the real ones, the ones you pass in the grocery store, the ones who walk their dogs, take care of kids, drive buses, bring casseroles. The people who say, no, this isn't okay, or how can I help? The ones you might not recognize from the outside, because the inside is where the hero lives. The title of today's sermon is Everyday Heroes, Ordinary People Who Stand Up for What's Right. And as we begin, I want to tell you a phrase that I heard over and over again at this year's Service of the Living Tradition at General Assembly in Baltimore. All of us need all of us to make it. It means we are interconnected. It means none of us thrive alone, and none of us are disposable. We need the courage of the protester, the wisdom of the elder, the questions of the child, the creativity of the artist, the care of a parent, and the voice of the quiet listener. It means no one gets to sit out, but no one has to carry the whole weight alone either. It means every voice matters, every story matters, that justice doesn't get built by superheroes, but by communities where every single person shows up with what they have to give. When I say hero, what pops up into your mind? Rosa Parks, Clara Lemlich, Charlie Bucket from Charlie and the Chocolate Factory, your cousin who works 3 jobs and still shows up for the neighborhood cleanup. Often we hear the simplified story that Rosa Parks was just a tired woman who didn't want to move seats on a bus. But the truth is deeper. Rosa Parks was an activist, a strategic, thoughtful, and incredibly brave woman. When she refused to give up her seat on that Montgomery bus, she did so knowing full well the risk she was taking. She was tired, yes, but not just tired from work. She was tired from injustice. Her act sparked the Montgomery bus boycott and helped ignite a movement. She is a hero because she used her quiet resistance to shake an entire system. Clara Lemlich was a young garment worker in New York City. In 1909, after enduring terrible working conditions and unfair pay, she stood up during a crowded union meeting and demanded a general strike. This brave act sparked the uprising of the 20,000, when thousands of mostly immigrant women left their factories to protest. Even when Clara was beaten and arrested, she never gave up fighting for labor rights. Her courage and determination helped transform working conditions for generations to come. And how about Charlie Bucket? A fictional character, yes, but a powerful example for children and adults alike. Charlie doesn't have money, he doesn't have power. What he has is a good heart. He finds a golden ticket, and through his kindness and integrity, ultimately inherits the chocolate factory, showing that goodness can triumph over adversity, and that even the most ordinary person can have a profound impact. In a world full of selfishness, Charlie shows honor, gratitude, and kindness. When offered everything, he chooses what is right over what is easy. That too is heroism. Our culture tends to put heroism on a pedestal, something rare, something for special people. But I think that's wrong. I think that story is too small. Real heroism is everywhere. It often comes without medals, parades, or headlines. Real heroism is the mom in our reading standing up for our autistic son, and the compassionate dad who explained the new coffee machine to him. It's the teenager calling out racism at school, even when it's awkward, even when it costs them socially. It's the nurse who keeps showing up in an underfunded hospital with skill, with love, with hope. It's the teacher who sees that the kid hasn't eaten and finds a way to offer food without shame. It's a neighbor who shovels snow off your steps without ever asking for thanks. It's the person on the subway who says, hey, that's not okay, when someone's being harassed. It's a member of our congregation who calmly says, I don't agree with what you just said, when they hear a transphobic comment. Everyday heroism isn't about fame, it's about faith. Faith in the possibility that things can be better. Faith that your actions matter, even when you don't see the results. Faith in other people, especially those who have been overlooked. It's in those acts of courage and compassion, big and small, that justice begins. Everyday heroism doesn't always look gentle. Sometimes it looks like resistance, like saying no to injustice, even when your voice shakes or your knees wobble, like showing up when it would be easier to turn away. We're living in extraordinary times. Climate collapse, rising authoritarianism, the resurgence of white supremacy, book bans, trans rights under attack. In these moments, the world doesn't just need a few brave people. It needs all of us, in our own ways, to live our values out loud. It's the farm worker demanding safe conditions and fair wages. It's the grocery clerk who refuses to laugh at the racist joke. It's a UU congregation hanging a Black Lives Matter banner and putting it back up every time it's vandalized. It's a parent testifying at a school board meeting about the importance of inclusive curricula. It's the teen who explains what their pronouns mean to their classmate for the 100th time with kindness. And it's even an anonymous hamster making room for everyone in their mini parade of all voices welcome. And sometimes it's a community like Selma, Alabama. Not just the leaders, not just the names you remember, but ordinary citizens, hairdressers, factory workers, students, grandmothers who marched, who stood on bridges, who dared to register to vote. The story of Selma is a story of collective courage, of countless unnamed heroes who showed up despite tear gas, beatings, and fear. And think of the women in Hidden Figures, Katherine Johnson, Dorothy Vaughan, Mary Jackson, Black female mathematicians who made NASA's spaceflight possible in a time when both racism and sexism were entrenched in every system they touched. These women showed up and did the math that launched rockets. They weren't expected to be heroes, but they were, not only because of their brilliance, but because they dared to succeed in a world that tried to keep them invisible. These folks didn't wait for backup. They didn't wait for approval. They acted because their values wouldn't let them sit quietly. That's our faith in action. That's social justice brick by brick. Remember these words because they're true and hard and beautiful. All of us need all of us to make it. No one gets a pass, but no one is alone. How often do we say someone should do something, but we forget we are someone? Someone should help that unhoused man. Someone should check on the neighbor who lost their spouse. Someone should speak up in that meeting when that microaggression slipped by unnoticed. Here's the thing, you're already in the room. You're the one who noticed. That might be enough to begin. No, you won't do it perfectly, but perfection is not required. Love is. The poet Marge Piercy wrote, "The people I love the best jump into work head first. The work of the world is common as mud." That's the kind of heroism I'm talking about. Not glamorous, but grounded. Not flashy, but faithful. Being an everyday hero can be exhausting. You might lose friends. You might get side-eyed at work. You might be the one who always brings up the hard things. You might lie awake at night wondering, am I even making a difference? You are. Harriet Tubman, born into slavery, scarred by violence, hunted, but she escaped, and she didn't stop there. She returned again and again. At risk to her life, she led others out. She didn't wait for someone else to do the work. She said, "My people are not free until we all are free." She wasn't perfect, but she was faithful. She didn't have superpowers. She had courage and vision and help. And maybe we can be like her, just a little, in our time, in our own way. Remember Luke Skywalker? He started out as a moisture farmer on a desert planet. No special powers, no pedigree, just dreams and a longing for something more. He's stuck. He's ordinary. He's us. Then tragedy strikes. His family is killed. He's swept into a rebellion he doesn't fully understand. And even as he trains, even as he learns the way of the Force, what defines Luke most isn't his strength. It's his heart. He's brave, but not invincible. He makes mistakes. He rushes in, he loses battles, he fails. But he keeps going. And what makes Luke a hero is that when he's finally face to face with the greatest evil, the Emperor, with Darth Vader at his side, Luke chooses love. He refuses to strike his father down. He believes redemption is possible, even when others have given up. And that's the heart of everyday heroism. Not fearlessness, but faith. Not destruction, but hope. The power of choosing connection, of trusting that light still lives in even the most broken places. And maybe the message of that story, under all of the lightsabers, is this: the greatest power you have is the ability to choose love, even when it's hard. You don't have to live in a galaxy far, far away. You just have to be willing to show up in this one. Unitarian Universalism isn't something we just believe, it's something we do. We covenant to affirm the worth and dignity of every person. We commit to justice, equity, and compassion. We believe in the interdependent web of all existence. So when one part is torn, we all feel the ache. Our faith doesn't ask for purity, it asks for practice. And practice means we mess up. We learn, we try again, we keep showing up to build the beloved community. This is our spiritual practice, not just lighting a chalice, not just singing our hymns, but living the values that we preach. It's imperfect, but it's real, and that's where transformation begins. Maybe you're sitting here thinking, but I haven't done anything heroic. Okay, but what if you already have? What if the casserole you brought to a grieving neighbor mattered more than you'll ever know? What if your pronoun pin gave someone the courage to come out at work? What if the protest you attended, even though you were scared, inspired someone else to come next time? What if the child who saw you stand up for someone will carry that story with them for life? What if? What if every small act of justice matters? Every small act of courage matters. Every small act of kindness matters. If you haven't started yet, that's okay. Start now. Start where you are. Start with what you have. Because here's the good news. Your story is not over. Children often understand this better than adults. They see unfairness clearly. They speak up instinctively. They say, "That's not fair," with all their whole heart. A child once told me their hero was my friend who invites everyone to play, even if they're weird. Yep, they're right. Include the weird kid. Speak up for the shy kid. Share your snacks. Use your voice. Let the children lead us. You don't need a cape. You don't need a podium. You don't need to be fearless. You just need a little love, a little nerve, and a little help from your people. Everyday heroes are the reason anything good still exists in this world. So keep showing up. Keep asking hard questions. Keep offering small kindnesses that ripple out wider than you'll ever know. Let us remember that love's pronoun is plural. We are in this together. We will not be left alone. And always, always remember, all of us need all of us to make it. You are not alone. You never were. We are building the beloved community. We need what only you can give. Amen. Ashe. Let it be so.